Stephen's just very excited.
Yeah.
I've never seen you so excited about getting asked to do a radio spot.
Well,
We get calls all the time. Like, can you talk about this? Can you talk about
Yeah.
this data breach? Can you talk about this new product or whatever it is?
Yep.
You just got a phone call from a producer at a radio station we both do work for. And I'm thinking, filthy little buggers called you, not me, firstly. Then I'm glad because they've called you about rugby league, Steve.
Yeah. They've called me about all the dramas happening with South. They want to get my take on it. And they
Hang
know
on,
that
Steve Crawley's on the line. He wants you at Fox Sports.
Get me on NRL 360.
NRL 360 with Stephen Fenech.
Well, mate, that was my background. I was a sports editor.
And you do still produce a weekly wrap of the Rabbitohs' woes.
I do.
Some weeks it's their highs.
Some weeks it's great.
Often it's their lows.
It's all my honest assessment, and this is coming from a bloke who used to play for the club, passionate about the club, and give. You know, when I see they're not winning, and I try to work out why not, and lately that's
I'm sure they do too. You know.
Yeah, but lately it's become obvious that there's problems within the club that I think that from the way their season has gone, from being premiership contenders to now barely lucky to make the 8 now, I think there's something wrong in the state of Denmark, as they say. There's something happening.
Isn't it funny how when there's something wrong, it always gets out.
Like,
because it eats away.
Oh, yeah.
And there's someone internally going, well, if only we did this. And so it leaks out, and then it becomes, as it's become right now, a big story for the Rabbitohs.
You don't want internal problems that's like a cancer for a teammate. And you can tell a team, and I've played in a lot of teams, a happy team is a winning team.
Yeah, right.
A disharmonious team, an upset team is a losing team.
Yeah.
You can't avoid it. It shows on the field how you are.
Well,
off the field.
And we're going to talk tech shortly, folks, I promise. It's, we do actually talk technology on Two Blokes Talking Tech, but we like to wrap it on a bit.
I do love
get it?
I do love the comment on the podcast, the rating says, what other podcast gives you 10 minutes about haircuts? Which that sums it up, doesn't it? Sums it up.
But a month ago, you called it.
I did. I called it. I said, who is coaching this team? Like the two star players, Cody and Latrell Mitchell, they perform pretty poorly, and there seems to be, and my exact words were, there's just no accountability. It doesn't appear to be any accountability.
This is exactly
3 weeks ago, and this is exact story being written today. So it's obvious. It looked obvious to me that they can run their own race.
Did you have inside knowledge?
No, none at all, mate. None. I have no inside knowledge. I know plenty of people at South, but I don't ask for. I don't.
No.
I'm not a busybody like that.
No.
I want my team to win, but. To me, it seemed like there's something doing. It seemed like you could tell there was something wrong there. And the reason they have beaten the top 4 sides in the NRL at this point is Brisbane, Penrith, Warriors, and who's the fourth one? Storm. Souths have beaten all 4 of those teams this season. They've beaten the top 4 sides, but yet we've lost to 6 teams outside the 8.
Right.
So does that say something's wrong?
That makes no sense, does it?
Something's up. And I know Origin really sort of Latrell being out for weeks, and there was issues with him in the Origin and that we don't know about. There was some sort of blow up.
That's definitely more than whatever was reported. There's something doing there.
Most definitely. So we just don't know what's doing there. And unfortunately for Souths, it's led to us now losing 8 games of the last 12. And now we'll be playing the Roosters in a week and a half if we win, we make the 8, we lose, we're out.
Right. Just finally on NRL 273, just not the full 360. So where are we at in the 8? Because is it right that mathematically there's a couple of teams
Roosters
that can chip in?
Win. Yeah, Roosters can win.
Can get in. You're playing the Roosters, aren't you?
So that's the game. So
is this all just a publicity stunt for the game?
Well, mate, it's worked out very well because Latrell's now going to miss that game.
What?
He's got a week suspension. Remember for that dog shot he did on Tyson Frizzell? He's now going to miss a week. We've got the bye this week, so he can't miss a bye. And the next week is the Roosters game, so he's out. He can't play. And this is our season on the line.
So if you win that, you're basically through
the 8?
We
win it, we're 8th. And if Roosters win it, they're 8th.
Wow.
Because they play the West Tigers this week, which we're assuming they're going to win.
Yep.
And South's got the bye, so we'll get the 2 points anyway. So we're still going to come in equal.
Yeah, right.
And so, this is it.
You get the win this weekend. That's all that matters.
Well, we get the 2 points. Although we're playing so poorly, I'm wondering if we'll even get the 2 points for the bye.
We've done nearly 600 episodes. In fact, we've done more than 600, let's be real.
Yes.
But imagine tuning into Two Blokes Talking Tech for the first time at
And we're talking
episode
footy.
599.
Yeah.
And these two idiots are talking football.
Well, although, to be fair, your background, 2GB, continuous call team, so you know footy.
Yeah, I'll stop you right there. I
Okay.
might have worked in football. I
Well,
didn't give a rat's about it.
I'm a former sports editor of the Daily Telly, so it's not like I was a tech expert, tech writer my whole life.
Yeah.
I was a sports writer and a sports editor before I got into tech. So that's my background too. So we're both coming from
Rabbitoh number
767.
767. That's a lot of numbers.
767.
What are they up to
They're
now?
up to 1,180 now, I think.
It's a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Is there a list? Is there a
Yeah,
website?
there is. Yeah, on the South's website, you can look
That's
at,
awesome.
you can track it. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of technology, we should do this.
Welcome to Two Blokes Talking Tech
Not a bad price.
with Trevor Long from EFTM.com
Really handy device.
and Stephen Fenech from techguide.com.au.
Really handy device.
We're going to change that.
Yeah, we really
That's
should.
old now.
We
How
really
old?
should. It's very old.
Every time I say it, I hear myself saying that's a handy device. And
have you
every
caught
time-
yourself saying it
I
on the
have.
radio somewhere?
Yeah,
Oh,
I have.
no.
Yeah.
Episode 599.
599.
Wow. And we're going to celebrate the 600th by doing nothing special. In fact, we're going to do it remotely.
Yeah, well,
So it is what it is.
it was built up. Our timing was slightly thrown out a bit,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I blame Apple.
That's your fault.
Um,
Your fault or Apple's fault? Apple's fault, you reckon?
I'm pretty sure it's
Well,
Apple's fault.
because let's come clean. We thought we were going to do the 600th the week the iPhone launched.
That's right.
Which was initially reported to
Tim
be
Cook was locked in.
first week of September.
It's funny he said
Yeah.
yes. He said, "Listen, happy to talk to you blokes. I'll be there
Really?
I'll be at Apple Park on the 8th of September."
Yeah.
And we're like, "This is amazing." And now it turns out the
Coincides.
rumors are
Yeah.
it's the week later.
To be-
So he'll be there. He
Yeah.
wasn't lying. He will be there on the 8th of September. We won't be.
We won't be, yeah.
And we can't afford just to fly
But
there randomly to
to
speak to
be
him.
clear, I have written that email asking if
Yeah.
it's possible
Yeah.
to get Tim Cook.
And it's been sent around Apple
No,
with smiley faces.
Funny, no
every
response.
time.
Cricket's response, nothing. But it turns out it'll be 6:01 when the week we're there. If we're there, we haven't been invited
No,
yet.
no,
so,
it's
you
still
know,
a rumor. The
we're
thing,
not
the
we're
iPhone
not
might be announced in
assuming-
November.
Yeah. So
By the way, hang on, sorry. I'm flying to Berlin. If the iPhone
Yeah.
doesn't get announced on the
Ooh.
13th of September, I'm in big trouble because I've got to
Wow.
get back for my wife's birthday.
oh my God.
So it's going to cost
Yeah.
this birthday is going to cost me a lot because I'm going to have to fly home.
Or you can fly her to Europe. How's that for an option?
She wouldn't come.
You reckon?
No.
First class ticket. to
Still
Europe.
wouldn't come.
Doing very well.
So- Someone's going to have to look after the kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's episode 599. Thank you to Netgear and Arlo, two great companies who've been supporting Two Blokes Talking Tech since a very long time
Since-
ago. In fact, since episode 1,
Episode
basically.
1,
1, 2,
yeah.
and 3, they came
Episode
in around
1.
about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, episode 599, and we'll tell you more about Netgear and Arlo as we kick along. Now, we don't normally do business news. We don't follow the financial
Not
results.
normally.
Although I have this week, I was looking at Kogan's results this week. I might mention that a little bit later, but
Yep.
I was digging into the News Corp results
Right.
because when they do
News
their
Corp.
quarterly results,
Who I used to work for.
you did, but you don't anymore. When they do their quarterly results, they actually, and this is News Corp globally, right? But it is primarily Australia. They've got most of their holdings and
Yeah.
revenue
So
comes
we're talking
through Foxtel.
newspapers, TV
Newspapers,
stations,
Foxtel, KO, Binge, etc.
pay
Right?
TV. Yep.
And they actually separate for the last, 2 to 3 years. They've separated out their numbers.
Yep.
And I was looking at the numbers, and I've always thought there was a story in their growth and decline in different ways. But I kind of positioned it as being, and my headline was Foxtel's booming thanks to KO and Binge, but it's a far cry from what it used to be. So let me break that down for you. 10 years ago, Foxtel had 2.3, nearly 2.4 million cable and satellite subscribers, right? 10 years ago.
That's what, nearly 10% of the country.
Today, they have 1.3 million. So they
So you
have
this
lost
1.3 people with a Foxtel
box,
set-top
Foxtel
box.
subscribers, right?
Yep.
They have lost 1 million subscribers. So at the top line, you think this is a disgrace. They've failed. It's a big problem. The reason for that is cost of living, yada, but also streaming, Netflix, Disney Plus, Stan, all these things are happening, right? But to their credit, KO was launched, 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah.
$25 a month. It's a little bit more now for all the sport that you get on Foxtel.
Yep.
And they now have 1.4 million subscribers on KO.
Okay, well, that's it right there. How many times have you heard? I know I've said it myself. I said if it wasn't for the sport, you wouldn't have Foxtel. A lot of people have said that. They want it because of the sport.
Well,
yeah.
think about the numbers, right? So 1.3 million Foxtel subscribers.
Yep.
1.4 million KO subscribers.
Okay.
1.5 million Binge subscribers.
There
so
you have it.
Binge is everything else on Foxtel except sport.
Except news and sport.
Yep.
Is that right?
And then they have Flash, which is news.
Yes.
They've got Binge, Flash, KO, Foxtel boxes. In total, 4.7 million subscribers.
Okay. So they're kind of gone.
You could say doing very well.
They've grown.
But from a business point of view, 10 years ago, what's called the ARPU, the average revenue per user.
Yep.
Let's guess it was $70, $60, right? Because people used to spend $130.
I used to have $139 for
so
the
let's
platinum
make
package.
a guess that it was 60 or 70, right?
Yep.
And it's probably listed in some financial paper somewhere. But today, because of KO and Binge, it's probably closer to 20 because you add Foxtel in. There's a few people still Foxtel. Of course. So it's probably more like 20 or 30 or something like that. It's probably listed in the numbers. I don't dig that deep. But that's their challenge is they've got more customers, but they're receiving less
revenue per
and
user.
probably their margins are less too. So they're making less.
Yeah.
But you can't argue with their ability to turn it around.
Absolutely.
Right?
They've adapted. See, when streaming became an everyday thing, they went. They didn't. It was a case of let's not beat them, let's join them.
But
and that was the KO Binge.
How did they muck it up in the early stage? Because do you remember Presto?
Yeah.
Right? When Netflix launched,
yeah.
I can clearly remember
I thought Presto was pre-Netflix.
Well,
was it around the same
there
time?
was definitely a time when, because I remember I was weirdly in Shanghai, and I remember doing an interview with a newspaper journal, and they'd say, can we cope with two services? It might have been three at the time because there was Stan and Netflix. I don't know. But the timing was basically Stan was Channel 9 or Fairfax.
Yep.
And Presto was Channel 7 and Foxtel joint venture.
That's right.
And then there was Netflix on its own.
Yeah,
and it's like Australians can't cope with three services.
Now look at me.
How wrong was I? And I was like, dude, two's going to be enough. And now the average is probably a lot higher than that. So they got it wrong early with Presto. Or did they go hard too early with Presto? Or was the partnership with Seven a bad idea and they needed to do it themselves?
Well, I think it's part of all of that. I think they may have been just slightly ahead of their time.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like when Netflix came out, that had already existed in the US, right? So that was, okay, we're getting what they've already got. So maybe they might have pulled the trigger too early. If they had maybe waited a year after Netflix, where the market kind of was accustomed to this whole on-demand streaming,
maybe.
Then
so do you think if they waited it out on Presto, it might have been successful?
Maybe. I think they sort of went out too hard too soon, and that was the end of it. But I reckon my gut saying it was maybe ahead of their time, because look what's happened now. Like if it was that we've got Netflix, Stan, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Prime, all these now. So there's plenty of room for all these players.
Yeah.
So back then, our thinking was, okay, free-to-air was still pretty strong. It still is. Foxtel was still, people actually paying for their TV was still pretty strong. Streaming was a novelty.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, I think it was maybe too early. If they had to maybe hung back or hung in there.
But they have to be at risk in some way, though, still with that 1.3 million Foxtel subscribers. Because when I put this story out, most of the comments were, mate, if KO was 4K, I'd ditch Foxtel in an instant.
See, that's what I was going to say. The advantage that Foxtel still has, if you got that box, which can get you the 4K. And, mate, I love watching League in 4K.
Yeah.
And do you watch Formula 1 in 4K?
Honestly, no,
you
I don't.
You haven't got Foxtel, eh?
I do have a Foxtel box here, which I'm happy to declare Foxtel provides, but I honestly don't use it.
Right.
And even when I come here to watch the Formula 1.
I've watched Formula 1 in 4K.
It looks amazing.
It's incredible,
It definitely looks amazing.
It looks really
but
good.
Does it add to my viewing experience? I'm not sure it does.
Mate, I love watching footy in 4K.
Yeah.
Even if it isn't South Park.
You like counting blades of grass.
Everything that's if it comes up the top watching 4K, I'm thinking yes.
Straight away.
Of course I'm going to watch it
So
in 4K.
that's an interesting business decision for me, because Foxtel knows that. They know that people are only on Foxtel Sports, Fox Sports, because of the 4K.
Why aren't they 4K? Because it'll take away from Foxtel.
Because it'll take away.
Right.
It's the only thing. So if you're promoting Foxtel, Fox Sports, Formula 1 coverage, you're saying it's the only place to watch it in 4K.
Yeah.
If KO have 4K, then Foxtel loses its edge.
Yeah, right, dilutes it a bit. But would you pay extra for 4K on KO?
I would not.
You would not.
But I think they obviously need to charge.
So
extra.
say they had KO Plus, which is 4K.
Yeah.
Would that
It
maybe
would it would do very well.
Like an extra 20, 10, 15 bucks a
It
month?
couldn't be more than 10.
Like 10 more? What is it
10.
now? 25?
Well, 25 is just a horrible package.
Right.
You want to be on the $30-odd
So
package
30
now.
bucks. So say
plus
they
10.
made it 40.
Yeah.
Would that be
That's a lot of
attractive?
money every month for just
It's
sport.
less than getting Foxtel, though.
It's
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I looked. Foxtel now their cheapest base subscription on a discount
Yep.
is $56.60 a month with sport
Right.
in HD. 56.
Not
And you got to pay
4K.
more for 4K.
You need the
Got to be on the
IQ5,
premium level, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
everything's
but
at
it's a
price.
lot of money to spend just to watch sport in 4K, don't you reckon?
Yeah, because I think Foxtel's counting on the fact that customers are now, you can't not buy a 4K TV.
Yeah.
And we're all looking for ways to showcase that purchase.
Yeah.
Netflix is in 4K.
Yep.
Stan's in 4K. Disney Play, everything's in 4K. Foxtel's in 4K, but KO unfortunately isn't. So is
I just think
Foxtel's banking on people wanting to see that
I
quality.
think is it Julian Ogren who originally was the boss of KO is now the boss of all the streaming platforms.
Yeah. What is it? Stream Motion? Is that what
Stream
it is?
Motion.
Yeah, the company.
I feel like he's just in charge of that whole strategy now.
Right.
But I don't know. I can't
Because
remember
Binge
exactly.
isn't 4K either, is it?
No.
Binge is HD.
At best, yeah.
And you know what really bugs me about Binge though? One of the only streaming services where you can't download to watch offline.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
horrible for
yeah.
that sense.
So, if I reckon people does that move the needle for people to maybe take up Binge if they were able to do
I
that?
think it's more of a competitive thing. It's like I use because like I'm traveling next week, and the first thing I do on the weekend is going to be open up the
Load
iPad
it
and
up.
download as much as I can. Right,
Load
load
it
it
up.
up because
Yep.
I'm away for so
Yep.
much. So, yeah, I think it's a real detraction
Well,
from
that's
the
us
service.
too. Joe and I we're going away, and she starts asking me a week early, what's good to download, and then all these shows. Oh, White Lotus. I'm thinking it's on Binge. You can't download. You got to watch it now. You can't
Yeah.
download it to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's.
But I think the next 2 years, and I think Foxtel's got a bit of a project going on. They've got a plan for something, but I think that the strategy of the business is at a tipping point now.
Yeah.
Like, think just revenue-wise, I did the numbers, right? Just imagine you assumed a level of revenue on KO of, I don't know, 27, I think, or $30.
Yep.
1.4 million subscribers is $450 million a year for sport. Now, their
pretty
biggest expenses are
Rights.
AFL,
Yeah.
NRL,
Yes.
and probably, I don't know, what would come after that? Maybe Formula One
Formula One, yeah.
and supercars
Soccer,
and stuff like that.
soccer.
Oh, some soccer, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Or football, sorry.
but
Football.
and obviously that's just KO.
Yeah.
Now, on the 1.3 million Foxtel subscribers, I bet you 1 million of them have Fox Sports,
Of course they have.
which is roughly $25 a
of course
month.
they have. Yeah.
So there is a lot of money in sport, right?
Is there ever?
Which is
Yeah.
also, and we've talked about it before, which is why it's super critical that they cling to the NRL and AFL.
Completely.
Could you imagine? I've said this before, but imagine Mike Sneesby, the boss of Channel 9, goes to the AFL or NRL. We'll have it all. Free to air and pay TV. It'll be live streamed on Stan. We can do it in 4K.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
Like
is
NRL
that, but
fans,
is that like
NRL fans would just go, yeah, cool. I'll have Fox. I'll have
Yeah.
Stan. Thanks very much.
But isn't that because they're the same company? Isn't that like anti-siphoning
Nope.
laws?
No, there's no rules
So,
around that.
but can you give all the rights to one company though? Like,
Why not?
Is that
Absolutely.
because pay and free to air?
It's just that
Really?
we only now have companies that do both.
Right. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? We've never had that
I
before.
thought that would be.
No.
You know, it's like the TV channel ownership laws. You can only own so many channels,
no,
and
there's no rules around it
really.
whatsoever.
So you reckon
the
that
only
it would
rules
be
are that the grand finals and state of origin need to be on free to
yeah,
air,
of
and that's
course,
fine
Of course. Yeah.
because Channel 9 and Channel
Yeah.
7 could both pull it off somehow.
Yeah. Right. Oh, so okay. So what's to stop them? When are the rights up again?
No, I think they've
Is it
all
every 2
pushed out.
years?
They've all been extended and pushed
Really?
a bit. And
Like
there's all
just
all-
the league is like $1 billion deal, isn't it? It's like
yeah,
$1 billion.
but over like 4 or
Yeah,
5
yeah,
years.
still a lot of money though.
I know, but just if it's 200 million a year,
Yeah.
250 million a year, that's
KO
half
covers
of
it.
what KO's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
in cash.
Okay, half. Yeah.
And the other half would be for the AFL, and then Fox Sports money pays for
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah. Right.
Of course, that's just rights. It costs money to actually do it. I
Yeah, you
get
gotta
that the
produce
numbers are
everything.
different, right?
Of
You know,
course.
Stephen Fenech on NRL 360 would not be cheap.
Get me on there, baby.
I'll ring Steve
Get
Crawley
me on
for you,
there.
mate.
Get
No
him on
worries
the
at all.
line, mate. Get him on the line. I'm ready. I'm ready.
So anyway, I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Foxtel's. I think Foxtel declined, and now they've plateaued to a point where it could be seen as potentially growth.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing that badly, but
Like I as a Foxtel customer, still am.
Yep.
I watch a lot of Foxtel.
Yeah.
A lot of sport, of course, but I do watch other things.
Yeah.
Movies and
I don't.
TV shows and stuff.
Just
I'm
don't.
still a fan. Yeah.
I'm just
And I just love the fact that it's now the quality you're getting is there. The 4K movies, 4K sport.
yeah.
It's the amount of content's growing. Here's my question for you: what does Foxtel do next?
Yeah.
What is the next move for them? They've done 4K, all this stuff. What's the next trick to keep people not only to keep your existing customer base, but to grow your customer base?
Well, remember their plan, as I see it, is to make their box like Fetch. It's the everything box, so you can get your Netflix app and everything on it.
It's like that now.
Yeah, but they don't have everything. They haven't got Stan. There's a couple apps missing, so it's not everything.
Will they ever get Stan though? Aren't they?
No, I'm pretty sure they
it's
won't.
It's like the sort of Telly and the Herald sort of getting together.
That's right.
Like,
yeah.
You're not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, you buy a Daily Telegraph subscription.
Yeah.
We're going to give you Herald on Sunday.
Yeah,
I don't think
right.
so.
No.
But I think that's what they want. Is it one box plus also. Think about the Optus SubHub move, right? It's one platform that you can buy everything, right? That's going to be the way. So Foxtel will clip the ticket on subscriptions.
So you reckon that's what
like
they're going to do, like an Optus SubHub sort of move?
I think that's their
You've got all your services
is,
with us. Let's look after you.
So let's say you are a $120 a month or $70 a month Foxtel customer. You remember, go, listen, I'll get rid of the box. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
And they say to you, why? What do you need? And they go, I've just got Netflix and whatever. Or I'm just going to get Netflix. And they say to you, listen, here's the deal. Log on to this website with your Foxtel thing and just click the button for these services. And using your Foxtel login, you can watch Paramount, Netflix, etc., for just the same amount you're paying now.
Oh.
And send the box back to us, the Foxtel box back to us, and you can get all the streaming services on your phone or whatever other device you want. If you want to keep the box, $15 a month, and you can still see all these services. So I think them offering streaming is their current play and their future play, not just their own streaming, every streaming.
You got to remember too, the IQ5 was a big change for customers because it was no longer, if you're a cable customer, that's now the property of the NBN, and so Foxtel said, we don't want to keep paying them for that.
Yeah.
So it's now satellite
or
only, broadband
or streaming,
also so through your internet connection. So that's you think that. Is that a factor for when people think about it? Like, why should I have to?
I think
use
whatever
my
the drop
broadband?
dead date is for Foxtel,
It's happened. It's
cable.
gone. It's passed.
No, but
it was end of July.
There's still people connected to cable,
Right? Because I thought it was July 30.
I would definitely have had more emails. They would,
Right.
I definitely got a lot of calls, a lot of emails when they first started contacting people. But I don't believe for a second that they have actually kicked people off.
Wow. Because I get this call on the radio every week. I haven't got an aerial because everyone had Foxtel.
Hey.
This goes back to what you were saying. Everyone Foxtel. My parents
It's
were
the
like
box.
this. Foxtel was their world. They were just tuned into Foxtel. They had all
That's
their
how they watched
channels
Channel 9.
streamed. Everything was streamed.
People would ring us up on the radio and say, "Oh, my Foxtel's broken. I couldn't watch Channel 9." What are you talking about? It's on the antenna.
Yeah,
They don't have an antenna.
That's right.
So you take away their Foxtel box, and they've lost free to air. That's
Well,
wild.
but that's the big change now. So if you got an IQ5 and you never had an aerial before, you're not going to get free-to-air TV.
No, that's right.
So even satellite doesn't rebroadcast.
And this is where the media landscape, I think, has missed a beat. I think, and I work broadly in the industry, but on the fringes of it, but I think the free-to-airs should have built, the Freeview app, or it's on TVs, but it's also an app you can look at the TV guide. Yep. It should have all the streaming in it. Like there should be one app, there should be one way to stream. I don't have an antenna in my dining room, but so I open up the 9 Now app, then I scroll down one, I hit live.
Yep.
Mate, it should be that I can just say to my TV, just get it all through the internet, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, it exists. Yeah. Streaming exists. Yeah. The free-to-airs, and they've all got to work together, frankly. Foxtel and the free-to-airs should be working together to push linear TV. Yeah? Live content.
Of course.
And make it easy and accessible to watch any channel on any box so that they've got a point of difference over and above Netflix.
So you're
Disney
saying
Plus.
that Foxtel should rebroadcast free-to-air through their internet?
Yes, but I'll tell you why it doesn't happen, because it's not known knowledge, but let's take Channel 9 as an example. To watch Channel 9 on stream, you have to be logged in because they want to know who you are and they want to serve you personalised ads. So
I hate catch-up on all those apps because you got to endure an ad and you can't skip it.
And that's what people hate.
That's what people pay for.
It's not free to produce television.
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean?
But yet you're watching, because when you watch a free-to-air, you're watching the ads too.
Yeah.
There's ads on there.
Yeah.
And so you're forced to watch the ads on the stream as well.
Yeah. Bad news. Ads pay for things.
I understand that.
I mean, people just don't appreciate that.
Ad supported, of course. That's why it's called free to air. Is that right?
That's
free to air. That's it. Did you know?
Pretty much how it works. I say that sometimes. We have a joke, or not a joke, but we if someone in the car whinges about an ad, I'm like, yeah, okay, who's paying the mortgage this month? Like the ads are paying for me to be on TV or whatever I'm doing.
There you
Ads
go.
make the world go round.
Doing very well.
Oh, struggles. Two blokes talking rubbish about Foxtel here on Two Blokes Talking Tech.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Now, I understand. Did you ever visit those Amazon stores where you just walk in?
Yeah.
And you take everything off the shelf.
Yeah.
So you tap in as you get in, so it knows that you are who you are.
Yep.
And then you grab what you need, and it's got all sensors, and it can tell what you've picked out.
Yep.
And you walk straight out of the store,
wild.
and you've already paid for it.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I did it in
So,
San Francisco, and I did it. I should date
Like
the.
about 4 or 5 years ago, wasn't
I
it?
should date the video. I
Yeah.
reckon it was 20. I hope my
2018
my
or
thing's not
something?
on mute, but 4 years ago.
Ah,
Look at me, 4 years ago, eh?
jeez, hey. Look a lot younger.
I look a lot younger. Times they've changed. Anyway,
Yeah.
that one they've actually changed a bit in San Fran. A couple of them are
Well,
closed.
there was one in
also,
the
San Francisco is a dump now.
yeah,
so
there was one in the big Westfield on Market Street
That's definitely
downstairs.
gone.
That's gone.
Yeah. Well,
that-
Westfield's is gone.
well, no, it's still there.
No, they're closing
What?
the whole of Westfield. Westfield's pulled out.
No way.
Absolutely.
So that whole centre is going to be
Nordstrom's
empty.
gone. Westfield's
Really?
gone. The city's going to try and turn it into something else.
San Francisco is going to be a ghost town.
Hey, it's a dump. Let's be honest. It's real
It's
bad.
changed a lot, eh? A lot of store closures,
it's
a lot of
bad.
homeless people.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And that's why these stores were interesting, because it was a walk in, walk out, no
Yeah.
speak to anyone thing. So I did it back then, and I actually did it, I think earlier this year. I did a TV, a Today Show cross from out the front of one,
Yep.
and just to talk about it. So the principle there, it's called Amazon Go, and they call it just walk out technology.
Yeah.
That's what Amazon calls
That's
it.
what a lot of shoplifters say.
Yeah. So you open up your Amazon app, there's a QR code in there. You walk in, scan the QR code,
Yep.
put your phone away,
So
and
it
then
knows that Trevor Long's in the store
and then
and he's shopping.
the cameras track that body, that person.
Yep.
And they see what you grab. So I grab a Coke, I grab a Mars bar,
Yep.
grab some M&Ms. Yep, just another day.
Hang
in
on. They don't need to track you. They said, oh, it's Trevor again. He's bought the same crap.
Just another day in San
It's
Francisco
Trevor.
for me.
Hang on, M&M's, Coke, and everything. Yeah, it's Trevor. That's Trevor Long. All right.
Oh, and a banana. And and so then we tricked it. We were like, oh, put one back,
Tricked
take
it.
one here, put
Ah.
one there. It still knows what you put back.
Right.
Walk out the
So
store,
when you take it off the shelf, it knows that something's been removed.
and when you put it back,
you put it back, what
knows
is it,
as
like
well.
a weight or something? Or
no,
what does
it's
it do?
cameras that can see.
Right.
Because everything's like perfectly lined up. This is where the Cokes
Right.
are. This is Coke, no sugar, or whatever it is. You know,
Right, okay.
you can't muck around with it.
Okay.
Walk out, and a minute later you get an email saying you've got a
The
receipt.
receipt. And,
So-
and everything is listed on the receipt.
Everything's listed. Then
Ah.
every time I checked it, it's right.
Right.
So 7-Eleven have announced that here in Australia they're going to have 10 stores by the end of next year, which is 13 months away more.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, with what they call grab and go technology, which I believe is a separate company.
So
This called grab and
7-Eleven,
go.
as in the convenience store, not the 7-Eleven that's tacked onto a petrol station. This is a
Well,
standalone
7-Eleven own the
7-Eleven.
petrol stations, but I
Yeah.
would assume it's not going to be a petrol station that they do this in.
Right.
And I also assume that it's going to be standalone grab and go, as opposed to a mixture of grab and go and a bloke behind the counter.
So
Because
it's all or
imagine-
nothing. Right.
Imagine
7-Eleven.
you've got an aisle.
Yep.
Yes. Stop it. I know where you're going, and I don't need directions.
Good on you, yeah.
Imagine you walk in the door and there's a carousel you've got to scan your thing on, but there's another place anyone can walk through, right?
Yep.
And so I scan and I walk, grab my stuff, walk out.
So,
And then
M&Ms and that,
because you're a cash man, you walk in, you grab your stuff, you go
Not
to the
always,
counter.
Not always.
You go to the counter and
Yep,
he
yep.
scans it and
Yep.
pay for it. That can't happen because old mate behind the counter doesn't know whether the bloke that walked between us and walked out with stuff
Is
he
what's
grab and
doing?
go
Is
or
he
is
a
he paying
shoplifter? Yeah.
cash?
Is he a shoplifter?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
So I
Right.
assume it's going to be all encompassing,
Right.
just grab and go.
Okay.
That'll be pretty cool. Like for that to come
Absolutely.
to Australia, Amazon obviously now licensed the technology as well.
Yep.
To be clear, grab and go is separate to Amazon, not the same thing.
Yep.
But Amazon announced early this year that they were rolling this out at Etihad Stadium. There's going to be a food stall there
Yeah.
where you can just walk in, grab
So
what
all
you
the
want.
stadiums
Same
are all
thing.
cashless anyway now. They're cashless after COVID.
Yeah, but they're going to go.
They're gonna go
to
full-
Amazon Go
Oh,
style.
so if I want to go, if I'm watching South play in the future,
Get up off your seat, go
I'll
grab a pie.
grab my pie, grab my chips,
Yeah.
grab my drink, and then it'll just pay. I'll just pay for it.
That's it.
Yeah, right.
Because Amazon evolved. I looked last time I was in Seattle. Yeah, when I was in Seattle with
Yep.
Amazon, there was a store under their headquarters.
Yep.
And the difference was you could walk in with a credit card. So you could walk in,
Tap your credit card to
swipe
start with.
or insert your credit card, pull it
Yeah.
out. And that was the measure to track. So that's just a
So you don't have to be a member of anything.
Doesn't know who you are or what membership you are or that you love Mars bars and Coke.
Yeah.
It just knows that you're an
M&Ms.
individual and you're all right.
Yep.
And you walk out and it charges to that credit card.
Okay. So that's a private way of doing it, is what we're saying?
Yeah, it's just
So,
a
but-
non-membership style.
But the way you did it before, you
had to be
it
an
knows
Amazon
who
member.
you
You open the
are,
Amazon app,
Trevor
all that
Long,
stuff.
Yeah, we better restock the M&Ms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's in town. Get
Yeah,
M&Ms.
quick. Yeah, quick.
I mean, you've seen how many M&Ms I
You
leave
love
the
it-
country
you love
with.
it, M&M. Yeah.
They're gluten-free in America.
Yeah. And you bring them home, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I've stopped doing that because they don't eat them as much anymore. 'Cause
Ah.
Man, it's like, stop eating M&Ms. I'm like, you made me buy them. Jesus.
There's always, always an excuse to eat M&Ms. I love the you're not a peanut.
No, mate, pure.
Peanut M&M. I don't eat the plain ones. Peanut or nothing.
You've got to go, when we're in America, we need to go to Walmart and we need to buy you a few different flavours.
Really?
Because, you know, there's a,
Like what?
is it a
What other
peanut
flavours are
brittle
there?
one?
Peanut
There's a lot of different flavours
Wow.
that
They-
aren't
they don't
available
sell them in Australia.
Oh, no, not at
So
all.
we're very limited on the M&M
Peanut
flavour.
butter. There's a peanut butter M&M.
Isn't that Reese's Pieces?
Maybe that's what they're
Is that what it is?
targeting.
Ah, really?
Maybe.
Controversy. I'll try that.
The other thing Amazon do, and this is not coming to Australia that I know of,
Yep.
but they do palm recognition. So you can, if you're in a Whole Foods
Yeah.
and it says, that's $27 for one thing because Whole Foods is so expensive, you can just palm and it knows your palm.
Really?
Yeah.
But you got to submit that at some point, don't
Yeah,
you?
you get Amazon member, Amazon
first-
membership
yeah,
and all that
right.
kind of stuff.
So,
register
rather,
the
so you don't have
first
to
time.
remember your credit card.
Mm-mm.
You just got to have your palm.
Yep.
You'll never forget.
Don't even
your
need your
palm
phone.
as well.
Like, think about that, right?
I think that's a really smart idea because A, you're never going to forget your palm,
Well, I mean,
and B,
unless you're, what's the bloke in Star Wars that got his arm chopped off?
Luke Skywalker,
Like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
If he was Lightning McQueen, I would have remembered.
Have both of your palms scanned.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But,
so Luke's fine. Then.
Yeah, but that's really smart.
Yeah, because you think about people whinge. If you ever, I've done so many things where you're like, oh, go digital wallet, and everyone's like, what if your battery goes flat? Idiots. When does your battery go flat? Seriously, who literally gets through a day without their charging their phone to it? Anyway, so you don't have a smartwatch, you don't have a phone, you don't have a wallet, and you need a Coke and a Mars bar and some M&Ms.
Absolutely, feel like one right now. Yeah,
Palm
Cool.
read.
Yep.
Dunsky.
So why the whole palm? Why not just your fingerprint?
I can't answer that question.
They're
I'm
just
not
like,
Jeff
just like a
Bezos.
lot of information.
I think they just want to be.
They want
different.
all your fingerprints.
I think it's
the
probably
whole
only
palm.
palm though, not fingers.
That's a lot, isn't it? To
Maybe.
I've never seen a place where you can just do more than a fingerprint. So fingerprint, even when you arrive at customs, you put your fingerprint, put your fingers in.
Maybe
like
they
whole
want to.
palm.
Maybe they want to give you a future. We see good things in your future. They're actually doing palm readings.
They want to upsell you palm
Proper
reading.
palm readings. You know what? Mine would be like, mate, you probably want to drop off on the M&Ms because it's not
Your
looking good.
lifeline is pretty short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Also, your palm feels heavy. Stop it.
That's interesting, but you're not going to. I honestly reckon biometrics is the way forward in a lot of areas.
100%.
Security,
So good.
convenience, and you can't. Have you seen anyone? Have heard of anyone forging a
No.
fingerprint?
No.
Or a Face ID?
No.
It's
I've
unless
heard
you're
of issues with
unless you're
twins.
identical twin. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's how rare is that?
Not that rare.
Yeah. So I think
I've
it's
got two mates.
yeah.
Four
Yeah,
mates.
my
that are
sister-in-law is
identical
an
twins.
identical twin.
Yeah.
Mikey's wife, she's
Yeah,
an
right.
identical twin,
Okay.
and they can unlock
I have
each other's.
so many questions for
They,
Mike.
they can unlock each other's phones. Yeah, but but that's how many of them are around? It's rare. I know there's a
I don't
few.
think it is.
Okay, but it's not like
How
it's not a very common.
rare are identical twins? Okay, baby, let's go. Around 3 or 4 in every 1,000 births.
Okay, so it's 0.03%.
All right.
Which
Doesn't
is,
sound like a lot.
Yeah, which
That's
is,
a
yeah,
lot, though. 3 in every 1,000.
Yeah, it's very low. It's
You
low.
go to, mate, you go to ANZ Stadium or whatever it's called now, a core stadium.
Yep.
That means there's 80 sets of twins there.
So
Seems like a lot.
Okay. Yeah, it does seem like a lot. But anyway, how do we get to this again? Don't know. Talk about the palm prints and
Yeah,
stuff.
anyway.
Yeah,
So 7-Eleven.
I reckon it's smart. Biometrics, I think, is the silver bullet for
Yep.
security, for all these sorts of payments.
Yep.
You've seen the extremes where people get chips and that put in there
Yeah.
under their skin. Like, why do that? Well, you
No
got,
thanks,
you
mate.
got your fingerprints and
Yeah.
that can identify who you are.
Two Blokes Talking Tech. You can read about the 7-Eleven grab and go technology at EFTM.com.
Everything about tech you never wanted to know. This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Two Blokes Talking Tech, presented, proudly sponsored by Arlo. And guess what? It's Father's Day coming
Woo!
up. So
You know, I get
think-
Father's Day early.
Why is it? Oh, because you're
So
away.
I go
for-
away.
Yeah, right.
So we're going out for lunch for Father's Day. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Yippee!
going to IFA. I'm not going this year, but
Yep.
you are. But I remember having a few Father's Day phone calls from over in Germany.
No one rings me when I'm away, but we're having lunch before we go.
Well, if you are thinking of some Father's Day gifts, then arlo.com is the place to go. A range of gifts available for different dads. If you're an outdoor dad, maybe the go-to. If you want to, you got your boat and
4G
your holiday house.
connectivity plus
yep.
Wi-Fi means there's two things about the go-to.
Yep.
The 4G means it'll work wherever you are. So it could be on
Yep.
your boat, your holiday house, your construction site, whatever.
Yep.
Or it could be at home.
Yeah,
and
when there's Wi-Fi.
it's a backup. So it's on the Wi-Fi.
So if you have a blackout or something happens,
or some shifty flicks the switch, you've still got
Well,
security vision off
if
them.
there's we've had a lot of natural disasters and stuff happening. So if the cellular network's still going, you'll still be able to keep an eye on your things.
Yep.
So that's a great alternative. Or if you're a bit more techie, maybe the Pro 5, which your 4K.
It's got all the latest image technology.
Image check there, and you can keep an eye on things when you're not home. So,
Plus, these days, honestly, and I'm not going to lie, it was a learning process for someone that's been using Arlo for a very long time.
App right now is brilliant.
I can just open
Really
up the
easy.
app. I can simply go, I want to arm it to be away from house. I want to arm it so we're home, which means it's going to record vision and notice and stuff, but I'm not going to get notifications of it. Or I can just go standby mode. And the whole house, the whole system is in standby mode. Nothing's being recorded.
And of course, there's
simple
Arlo,
dashboard.
The Arlo Secure 2 is the subscription service. You're 3 months free when you buy a camera.
Yep.
But if you that'll give you your smart notifications.
Yep.
So you can distinguish between people, pets, vehicles, and packages. Packages, very important. We get a lot of deliveries. You want to know if there's a package on your doorstep.
Yeah.
When one has been delivered.
Because you need to ask yourself with a security camera, if it's just throwing you notification, motion detected, trust me, you'll turn off notifications and you won't get value out of the camera.
True.
If you have Arlo Secure, you'll go, I don't want notifications of a tree blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
I want notifications when there's a person or a vehicle or a package. I don't want animals. I don't care if it's a cat walking by.
Well, I use the pets because when I'm checking in on Ziggy and Logan at home.
Ziggy and Zaggy.
I do get those notifications.
Have you ever accidentally called him Zaggy?
No. Far out. Never.
It's unbelievable.
Never.
Yeah. How old's Zaggy now?
Is Ziggy or Logan? He'll be 10 in December.
10 years I've been trying to get you to call your dog a different name.
Ziggy will be 12 in March. Yeah, so they're
Still
brothers too. They're bros.
I still don't understand it, mate. I mean,
you got to keep an eye on them. I think, and that's one usage where a lot of people use security cameras to keep an eye on their pets.
Yeah,
especially the essential indoor camera.
Yep.
That's got a privacy screen, so when you're home, you don't want it to be recording anything.
Yep.
But when you leave, you can keep an eye on your pets, your cats, your dogs. Talk to them, even talk to them through it. The two-way audio.
Done.
Way to do it. If you want to check out those gift suggestions, Father's Day, arlo.com.
Simple as that.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech with Trevor Long and Stephen Fenech.
Stephen, I have a bone to pick with you.
Yeah.
I live a very private life. I like to plan my days.
Yeah.
I like to know what's happening and when it's happening.
Yep.
This morning I said to you, listen, I've just got back. Got a bit of work to do, things to do. What's your ETA?
Mm-hmm.
I sent you that at 10:17.
Yep.
At 10:18, you said, I'm about to leave. ETA around 11. I said, okay. 10:27, you said, ETA 11:23.
Yeah.
You walked in the door at 11:06. And I went, mate, what if I was busy working?
Yeah. Well,
what the hell? Is your new Mercedes-Benz EQE Supersonic?
No, it's not. It depends. I find that when I choose, because I got CarPlay for the first time.
For the
in my
first
life,
time,
right?
he's
I've
just
never
discovered
had
the greatest
CarPlay.
technology ever.
So I've got Apple Maps is kind of my go-to map, right?
Okay.
And I typed in go to the country, long journey. Okay, I typed in your address, and it said.
And you're a tight ass, so you went avoid tolls.
No, I didn't. I said with toll, fastest way.
Yeah.
And Apple Maps said to me 11:23 or whatever it was, right?
Yeah, what'd you go via Penrith?
No, I came my normal way, right? So I'm thinking, geez, is there a traffic or like what's doing? And I remember there was a couple of odd little next turns, like it was directing me to the Carl Expressway, and I'm thinking, has there been an accident or something? And so I thought, this is a bit strange. And the other alternative, which I know you swear by, Waze.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I'm going to switch it up a bit.
He's finally going to listen to me.
No, I do have used Waze in the past, but I'm thinking, I'm going to see what Waze thinks about this.
Yeah.
So I've typed
You sort of second opinion.
that's right. It's like
Wouldn't it
going
be
to the
funny?
doctor,
Wouldn't it be funny if Waze had deep integration to iOS to say, "Are you seeking a second opinion
you
for that journey?"
I can get you there faster. Tell me, come and see me. So I did actually do that. I went into Waze and I typed in your address, deep into the country, and it came up with ETA 11:07. I'm thinking, okay, that's better. That's
Right.
about
2KY
right.
1017.
That's about right.
No,
So I'm
11:07.
thinking, it did. There was an event in the Lane Cove Tunnel. There was
Okay.
some sort of. It was just
What,
a
a
truck.
marching band?
There was just a truck. There was just a truck with an arrow pointing. There must have been something there earlier,
Okay.
cleaning up an incident or something.
Right.
But it was. I got here a lot faster. I don't know whether Apple is a bit more conservative with their estimation, or
I've
what's
heard,
going on.
Well, let me
or-
say this. I've heard good things about Apple recently.
Yeah.
I've heard people rave about how much better it is. And I've actually, honestly, never had a major problem with it.
Yeah.
But, back in the day, people were whinging about it because I think it only took 3 stories in the first month of Apple Maps for Apple Maps to get a bad reputation. But I
Yeah.
genuinely don't believe it's that
Yeah.
bad. I just believe Waze is way better. Right? So let me be clear.
Waze
Apple Maps,
owned by Google.
go
aren't
for your
Waze?
life. But
Yeah.
Waze now owned by Google, so
Yeah.
it's got the data of a Google map,
Yep.
but it's got the learnings of hundreds of other Wazes.
Yeah.
So when I drive
Is that what you
recently,
call them, Wazes?
Wazes, yep, absolutely. So when you're logged in and like we leave reports. So if I'm
Right.
driving along and there's a car on the side of the road, I'll leave a report, car on the side of the road. Police.
How do you do
police.
that behind the wheel? It's just like a tap
There's a button on Apple CarPlay. There's a button, hazard, done. It's easy.
Okay.
I get whenever we're driving as a family, Jackson does it for me. So he'll do
right.
any reports. And
Okay.
like if there's a notification that says police in 200 meters or accident or something, still there or not, we'll answer that
I
question.
had that today. Incident still there, and I said no, gone, not there.
And then it disappears.
Yeah.
And what happens is if you a listed incident, it'll actually tell you later in the day you helped 264 Wazes, 264 people driving past were helped by the fact that you
Yeah, right.
gave that notification.
So what's
So
the
it's that knowledge that I think makes Waze better.
And so you're able to see where there's like police by the side of the road, or like a
Hazards,
DUI, like
traffic's just slow. Like if
like
I'm going 5 k's
random
an
breath
hour
testing
on the
and
M4, I'll just go slow traffic standstill.
like-
So it tells everyone around
Yep.
the traffic's at a standstill,
Right.
rather than just waiting for the
So you-
RMS
You
database
take
to
one
update
for the
and all that.
team and then tell
Absolutely.
everyone else that.
I'm a team player,
Yeah.
and that's why I think Waze is far
why-
more accurate.
Why doesn't Apple Maps offer that kind of scenario?
I don't know.
Do they or not? Do they have
not
any?
that I know of, no.
They do indicate traffic. You
Yes.
see if there's the colour of the road's different.
And
if
you've
it's
got to remember,
traffic.
all these systems use data from users. So all
Yeah.
the Apple Maps users contribute to the fact that there's a red line on the road because it's slower than normal.
Right.
It's not all about the data that comes from the roads
So
authority.
it's the speed people are travelling.
Yeah.
Is that like that? Remember that story?
Remember
about
the
bloke
dude in
Berlin?
Germany?
Is
Yeah.
it Berlin where he took
He
the
walked
whole
around.
cart full of phones and caused a traffic jam?
Yeah.
A virtual traffic
A
jam?
virtual traffic jam, just walking 50 phones in a kid's toy car.
Maybe we should try that. Yeah.
I just don't have the time for that.
It was a good story, but that's how they do it, eh? They
Yeah.
they so they
It's
look at your
it's a
data.
combination of
Yeah.
user data, actual traffic network
Yeah.
data, and user input data with Waze. But mate, I say to people, listen, when I drive to Channel 9 a couple of times a week, right? It's the same place, same. I know where it is.
Yeah.
But I always use Waze.
Just to get a
Always.
heads up if there's
Just,
anything
mate,
in your way.
If it says you're got to go via the Common Parkway, I'm like, is there an accident on the M2?
Ah.
Zoom out, accident on the M2.
I like the Common Parkway. It's very scenic. It is quite nice.
Okay.
I do like that.
Really?
Yeah.
How often do you drive the
I've
Common?
driven that way when I had my Tesla. I used to go to Macquarie to charge on the way
Well,
home.
Tell you what, when
Yeah.
I get my car, we drive on the Common Parkway.
Yeah,
a bit.
it's good. Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
the
you
Galston Gorge.
open her up a
Peeps
bit.
Ridge
Yeah.
Road. There'll be a few.
Oh, that's very scenic. I like the Common Parkway.
Okay, very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you know where it is.
Oh yeah,
For
it's
someone that lives
right off. Yeah,
in a different area,
yeah. I live east. Yeah.
not out here in the bush.
You live in the country, but
But no, honestly, mate, Waze
so you
every
pay
day
attention.
of the week.
Waze, you do what Waze says.
Yes.
Yeah, I found when I had my Tesla, which was Google Maps and update live,
Yep.
I'd always do what the car told me to do.
Yeah.
Because it was always avoiding traffic for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with
Oh.
Waze, you trust that. Apple Maps, I'm questioning it
But see,
because
that's all it takes is one incident like
Yeah.
this, and you're like, oh, can I really trust it?
it told me to go the Carl Expressway. I'm thinking, why? The Harbour Tunnel was fine.
Whereas I've had the complete opposite, where I'm on the M2, sorry, with the Sydney talk, but I'm on the M2 heading, let's say to your joint, on the
Yep.
other side of the bridge, right?
Yep.
And Waze has said, get off the road, go somewhere else, like
Go
via
and
North,
have a go and
via
have some-
North Sydney or something, right?
Go and have a drink and some M&Ms.
And I've gone, that's just stupid. And I've kept going. And there's a massive drama on the Bradfield Highway, a kilometre out from the bridge, and it's a standstill. I'm going to be delayed 20 minutes.
Oh, right. And
Right?
it saved you the time.
No, well, in this incident, I questioned Waze and drove on and was
And?
stuck and had to
Ah.
wait and was late. So from that
Damn.
moment on, I've gone, I have my faith in you, Waze.
Waze.
Right?
Interesting.
Like, I
That's
think
interesting.
those experiences is what make people
well,
pick it.
you think about, we're going to talk about dash cams later, but the reason why people like we're going to talk about Navman and why they don't produce GPS anymore is because of these the Apple Maps and Waze.
Yeah, like
and
it's a tough market to be in.
Have this device in your pocket, the phone that can provide that information in your car. It's a remarkable for how far we've come. With this. Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you remember when GPSs first arrived and you could get turn-by-turn information?
Yeah.
I was talking 20 years ago.
I've still got at home.
It was massive.
I've got a Navman. It's about this big.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome at the time. I hope you'll appreciate what I'm about to say, but it's sticky as hell now. You know the really old gadgets that had a very rubbery effect, and now it's sticky. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know what you've been doing with it. But
I know. It's just aged rubber, right?
I've had the experience.
And so I wish I could pick it up and like take it on TV and
Can't
stuff.
you
but
put eucalyptus oil or something on it to get
I
rid
don't
of that?
think. Oh, maybe I should try.
Try that.
But I feel like it's just disgraded. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I remember a mate of mine.
Does it still work?
Adam, I don't know. I should plug it in and find out. I don't know if I've got a power cord for it. But I remember we bought two. We went to like an electronics store in Hornsby. We bought two, one each, and put them in our cars. It was like wild. And then the M7 motorway opened, and I had to get a new SD card for it.
To upgrade
because it's a new motorway. But hang on. Let's rewind even further. See, as a kid, as a Queenslander, we had Refidexes, right? We had Refidexes.
Yeah.
You had what? Gregory's? And in Melbourne, they're Melways.
Yes, the Gregory's. Yeah.
So
there was another one, though. There was another one, the Gregory's and one other one.
UBD,
that's it.
There was a Sidway, but it was a bit, come on.
Sidway, that's the one.
Yeah. So and you know how there's the scallop and the potato cake and all that from different parts of the country? Yeah. That's a way of working out where someone's from. Back in the day when you had a book that was the maps in the car, what did you call it? Refidex is Queensland, Melways is Melbourne,
the Gregory's.
And in Sydney it was primarily the Gregory's.
Yeah.
But do you remember that?
But you'd have to stop and look at it, and
you'd go, I'm going to drive to Stevens. He lives here. Okay, you'd go to the back. You'd look up the street name and the suburb, and it'd be page 42 X7.
G4.
Yeah, right. And then you go, okay, there it is. And then you go right. So that's off that road there, and then it's two roundabouts and a set of lights because the roundabouts were little red circles and the lights were full red dots.
What? As a kid, right? We'd drive with like my parents. We'd drive, say, to my relative's house, which is out west somewhere, and I'd be the map.
You'd be
guy.
the navigator.
I'd be the map guy.
Woo.
Yeah. So I'd always have that job, being the I know, Dad, you got to now. There's a street coming up. It's called Carlo Avenue. You got to turn left there.
Don't turn.
So that used to be me.
Imagine what would happen if we gave that to the next generation. Just said, listen, find your way.
Yeah. Good luck.
Because here's the thing. This is another off topic, but. It's illegal for a P-plater to use Apple CarPlay.
What, even...
Yes.
You mean on their phone or on the car? If CarPlay's in the car...
It's illegal to use.
How?
It is
Why?
illegal to use. CarPlay,
Why?
Apple Maps, everything.
Because you can't touch the screen. You can't touch anything.
But it's legal for them to use. So in Kenny the Carnival, we've got SatNav built in.
Yeah.
Jackson can use that, set a route, and drive.
Right. Because it's built into the car.
Because it's built into the car.
Right.
But even though Apple CarPlay is built into the car, you can plug a phone in and never touch it, and it appears on the screen, and you can even use your voice to set a nav. It's illegal. I'm going to start a campaign.
Because
is that
because you're using your phone technically? Is that right?
Correct.
Really?
I'm genuinely going to start a campaign because I think it's unsafe. I think kids need to know where they're going.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think any uncertainty makes them potentially do other things.
In the fair income department, how many kids do you reckon are not using CarPlay because I reckon A, they don't know it's illegal.
Oh, no, they know.
And B, who's going to catch them?
Driving instructors tell them straight away.
Really?
It's the first thing they tell them, yep.
Because the car's connected, whether it's with the cable or wireless, that's technically using their phone in the car. But they can play their music on it, but not
Bluetooth.
their maps.
No, they can't play their music, but their friends can play music off their phones. Yes. So Jackson, if he's a passenger in his mate Harvey's car, can play his music via Bluetooth, but not via Apple CarPlay.
Oh, God. That's a lot.
And it's stupid.
Wow.
Because,
it is, isn't it?
I retrofitted a big head unit stereo into my Mazda.
Yep.
Jackson's going to drive that car.
That's got CarPlay in it.
It's got CarPlay. I have personally wired new USB ports to be essentially behind the driver, so in the center console, but way back there, that Jackson can have a 5-centimeter cable, so his phone sits down there. Right, so he can't touch it because if he touches it, unplugs it.
Of course, yeah.
And CarPlay is there. He can use his voice to navigate.
Yeah.
He's not stupid enough to be sending messages and random stuff. But
course
even
not.
if he does, it's legal to do that for adults.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it is really
But
dumb.
is it the fact that CarPlay lets you answer your messages and listen to your messages? Maybe.
But there's cars that do that. Toyota cars will read them out to you as well. That's not illegal.
But a P-Play can do that.
Yes, because it's built into the car.
That is stupid then. Yeah, that is dumb.
And look, will a policeman really pull you over?
No. Yeah. Well,
maybe.
Hang on. Is that CarPlay I see over there,
look,
young man?
What I've said to Jackson and his mates is, look, a policeman is not going to drive past you and go, "Oh my God, I saw Apple CarPlay." Woo, woo. But if you're being an idiot,
of course,
on the road and you're speeding, changing lanes
You get
aggressively,
what you
whatever,
deserve,
and they pull you over, they will mark you down for everything.
They'll check your tail lights.
They'll mark you down because you pulled out your phone to show them your digital license before you asked. Because you've got to ask before you pull out your phone to go to your digital license.
Okay.
So
is that right?
Yeah.
So you can't until they ask you. What
if
do you say?
If you get
May
pulled
I
over,
touch my phone?
If you get pulled over and they say license, please, because in Australia they don't say license and registration because your car's registered, and we're not idiots like America. We just have cars that are registered, and have to be insured to be on the road.
Yeah.
And number plate recognition by police officers that determines whether a car is registered or not. Anyway, if they pull you over for a breath test and they want your license, they're going to see your license. You say, "It's on my phone. Is that cool?" And they'll say, "Yeah, fine, no worries at all."
So you're saying a police officer, if you just reach for your phone before they ask you, could say, "Uh-oh."
Technically, because the car's still on. Yeah.
Is that a narc? Is that a narc?
100%.
Come on.
Narky McNarky, but he'll get you.
Right. If you, I can remember when I was playing footy, and I think I was a P-player when I was playing footy, and I used to play, a lot of my teammates were coppers, and they'd always say to me,
"At the Botany Rams."
No, this is at South. When I was playing for South, and they
I was just trying to sound like I knew who you were.
No, I did play for the Botany Rams. Good pick. But they used to tell me, and I'm thinking, when you get pulled over, if you get pulled over, right, don't argue with the police officer.
No.
Be apologetic. So, look, "Oh, sorry, mate, I didn't realise I was, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And they were telling me, he says, "Mate, 9 times out of 10, you'll get a copper saying, 'Listen, mate, just pull your head in, just be careful next time.'"
Yep.
But you get these dickheads who thinking, "Oh, you're a kid, aren't you? What the hell?" They're blowing up, and the bloke goes, "Mate, beautiful. Here we go."
I remember being on my P's. I'm in my little sad Ibiza driving from Brisbane to Sydney and being pulled over, lights and sirens. And the first thing he said to me was, "Do you realise how fast you were going?" And I felt like saying, "Man, I think you got me."
Should have seen me earlier.
No, I think he said, I caught you at 110 there in 100 zone, and I felt like saying, "Mate, you have no idea how fast I was going just before I saw
seen me
you."
earlier.
Yes. I'll take whatever you're handing out. Thanks for the ticket. See you later.
Wow.
At 110, that's 50 less than what you should have got me at.
Wow. Is that right?
Yeah.
But
I was an idiot.
You've been done for speeding, haven't you?
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, I have too. But you know what? I'll tell you one story. I got off using that advice.
Right.
Using the advice from my teammates. A lot of them were, mate, there were like a good number of my teammates were coppers.
Right.
And I was actually working at the Daily Telly. I was a journalist at the time. And mate, I'd get the best tips about, there's something happened here, and talk to this bloke. But I remember talking to an officer, "Look, I'm really sorry, mate. I didn't realise I sort of took my mind off things for a couple of minutes, and I'm really sorry." And the bloke just said, "Look, mate, okay, just be careful next time. Do your best." And that worked. There was another time where I did the same thing again, right? I said, "I'm really sorry."
Yeah.
And the bloke looked at my licence, and he goes, "Are you in relation to Mario Fenech?" I went, "Yes, my brother." He goes, "Mate, you look more like him than he does." I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, mate, take it easy." So, yeah. So,
how to get off a speeding fine?
Well, you
look
just
like
gotta
Mario
be nice.
Fenech.
Just don't be a prick is basically it. Like thinking, sorry, mate, I didn't, there have been times where you're thinking, "Mate, I don't reckon." There was one time I said, "Look, I don't reckon I was speeding, but anyway, we'll see how we go." You're right. And I said, "Okay." So basically said, "See you in court, mate."
Yeah.
So, and that was a time, I think I might have mentioned this before, where the copper said to me, "Well, it's your lucky day because we're on strike. We're not fining anyone."
Yeah.
But, there you go. And I remember writing about it in the telly. I wrote an op-ed piece about they were on strike to get more pay. And I said, "Look, I dodged a bullet today. They're dodging bullets every day, so give them the money."
Yeah,
basically said. So, yeah.
All right. I don't
But
know how
don't
we got
speed,
onto
kids.
that rubbish.
Don't speed. They were
Official.
talking about maps, GPSs, giving it to the young kids, so they weren't allowed to use Apple CarPlay,
Wow.
which I could not
Thanks
believe.
for the recap.
I can't believe that.
I'm going
they
to dig
can't
into
use
it and get
CarPlay.
more info.
That is ridiculous.
Yep, I'm going to get into it.
Yeah. Wonder if Apple could do anything about that.
No.
Well, Android Auto, I suppose, same deal.
It's the same deal with Android. Yeah. Two Blokes Talking Tech.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Now, it's you. Good.
Yeah, road. Come on, look at the rundown, mate. Look, it took a lot of time writing this rundown.
Can anyone else read that? No. Okay.
My handwriting's
Your
great.
handwriting
It's all right.
is actually not bad today.
Not bad today.
Although the last topic should have been about Mars, I think.
Really?
Pretty close to maps.
Okay. Anyway, what is that? Road. Road has released. Road.
We've been
good
doing
Aussie,
this for 600 shows.
Yeah, a good Aussie company, Road. They've just released their new wireless Pro now. Like, I think that this is obviously if you're a top shelf pro level content creator, filmmaker, you're going to dead set have a very, very happy time hearing these features. Right?
You were going to go somewhere else and then realise we weren't on the private feed.
Maybe. But this is the pro level. Like, we've already seen the wireless Go 2, the wireless Me, which is kind of your everyday wireless microphone systems.
Yep.
But now with the wireless Pro, they've basically put so many features into a microphone, and it happens to be a wireless microphone as well.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to admit, I don't understand half of the features, but they are apparently really good, including, do you understand 32-bit float onboard recording?
I do.
32-bit float.
I'm going to make an admission.
Float? What's the
make
float
an admission.
mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know either.
Okay.
But I was recording a Today Show segment on Monday, and I knew this release was coming out on Tuesday, and I had a soundo with me. So Cameron had soundo.
Yeah.
And a soundo for TV, you know, they've got the big kit
Massive
and all the
thing.
microphones.
Yeah.
And the little mic that he had for me, he could turn it off on his phone. It was awesome. It was serious stuff. And I said, mate, just under embargo. Don't want to tell Rode that I broke an embargo, but I needed info, right? So I said, just tell me what does all this mean? So you know, in a microphone, when you speak too loudly, it clips, so it goes too far.
Yeah.
Right? And if that happens in your edit and you pull the volume down, it's still clipped.
It's still,
So you don't get the waveform back, it's still clipped.
Flat. Yeah.
So what you do to avoid that normally is you just turn the volume down, right?
Yeah.
But if you can't control the
gain,
volume,
they call it gain.
Yeah.
Gain?
But normally the gain happens at the receiver end. So you got to remember, you got the microphone that you're wearing and the receiver that I'm listening. That's how I'm recording. Your microphone is the one that's clipping, and gain control is a tough thing to do. So what 32-bit float does is it allows your microphone to have essentially limitless levels. Right. So instead of there being an integer, a number from 0 to 100 or whatever it is, it's essentially a floating number.
So there's no ceiling to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So essentially, what they say is the point is it's recording even if it's low level, so it's really soft and whatever, or it's really, really bloody loud.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. You can always manipulate it up and down in edit. And so it is the purest form of audio recording. Yeah.
And so the big box that he carries around, does that have that?
It probably does, yeah.
Yeah,
But
right.
what I did, so these are $699 for this, right?
Yeah.
It's a single receiver and 2 transmitters.
Yep.
With lapels, by the way. Comes with the lapels.
So with the lavaliers,
yes.
the little mics.
So
$6.99, you expect they would.
I said to old mate, I said, Simon's his name. I said, honestly, is that a good price? And he gave me kind of a questioned emoji. And then I said, remember, it comes with a case, and there's a second case, which I think is an option.
Case. Yeah.
The charging case is an option because it comes with the accessory case, not with the accessory case Pro, I think.
And
so I think that might be an extra. But the
you
accessory case Pro
too,
has a battery in it, so you're constantly charging. Anyway, I said, listen, what do yours cost? Yeah. $3,000 for the transmitters, $6,000 for the receiver.
Whoa. So
that's the market they're cracking into.
So $6.99 is a bargain then compared to that.
Yes.
But like, in terms of quality, what is that
Quality's,
subjective, or is it what the
quality is going to be amazing? So it's a fascinating space, to be honest. Remember, we gave away the car on the Today Show, right? We had 6 contestants, 2 hosts of the Today Show, me. There was like 11 people at one point we had to have mic'd.
Oh.
One of the audio guy came in, he mic'd them up. He had an iPad that could control the levels of them all. Wow. Like they were transmitting live data. Oh, who knows, mate? It was it'd be super audiophile.
Yeah, right.
So this is a space that you could spend a lot of money and get a lot more features than this.
Yes.
But the point is, what Rode did was they take all the feedback from the Wireless Go, Go2, and Wireless Me from filmmakers, not bloggers and bloody Instagrammers.
Pro users.
And they went, listen.
What do you need? What else do you need?
It's great, but I've had this problem, like range. So this thing goes 260 meters line of sight. Yeah. This thing has a longer amount of onboard recording because it's recording as it goes. Yep. Plus, it's got a record button on it. So like when I'm with Stig at CS and we're filming all day, I can wear the mic and I can hit record on the mic when I need the audio to record.
Yeah, you can do that with this.
Yeah. So it's got that built in.
Yeah,
it's a pretty cool product. Yeah,
and it's also got the time code capability as well. So
Yeah.
for post production,
Yeah, so when a
if you're
camera
syncing audio to
you
video.
sync, and you do it via
Yeah.
USB-C cable.
Yeah.
You know, you can do it. You can
Just
actually
go
do it
boom.
with the camera.
Yep.
You can sync the camera and the transmitter and
So the
receiver, so
audio
they
then
all have the same
they
time
join.
code
Yeah.
synced up.
Yeah, perfectly.
Like it's pretty awesome stuff.
And it's got the locking lavalier connectors too. Like
Yeah,
you know,
so you
when
can screw them in, so
you
they
see
can't accidentally
you
come
can't
unstuck.
someone trip over it and it pops out, or I don't know what else could bring it out. But
Yeah, but see, but it's not. I've never had that happen.
yeah,
But it's the kind of thing a pro would want. They'd want it
Yeah.
locked in. That's the main thing.
yeah.
Anyway, pretty cool stuff.
Like so their other product, the
Yeah, the
Roadcaster,
Roadcaster doesn't have
doesn't
lockable
have
power.
a screw. But
You
the
could
last one
literally.
did. The first
Yeah.
model did.
Yeah.
It was screw, wasn't that screw?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Now if I yank
Mate,
that USB
I'm
cord,
nervous as hell right now.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because you mentioned
yeah,
it.
maybe Roadcaster Road. Look at your other product, locking connection there, like
in
you've
there.
got your lavaliers. There's also the TRRS input for headset or other narrator microphone. So you could be connecting to the receiver
Yes.
and then narrate what's happening.
So basically, you could put a set of Rode NT100s with the microphone on it, or
Yeah.
any other TRRS connector, and you could be the person filming, and
Yeah.
you could narrate what you're seeing.
So while
and that
you're
gets
still
recorded as
recording,
well.
the
Yeah.
talent is in front of you. You
Yeah.
can still contribute
Yeah.
through the receiver
Yeah.
as well.
Or you could actually just have the receiver plugged in and no transmitters, and just use that as your
Yeah,
your
as a
narrator
microphone.
mic.
Yeah, wow, okay.
So which happens, you're filming something like on a smartphone.
Yeah,
You could easily just have that as your mic.
okay.
Pretty cool.
I also like the plug-in power detect as well. So when the camera's turned on,
It automatically
it turns
on.
on, and when the camera turns off, it turns off
Yeah.
the
Which is
receiver
something
too.
their shotgun mics have.
Yeah.
So it's-
oh yeah, right. Of
These
course
are,
I do.
you
Yeah,
got to remember,
yeah.
Rode makes more microphones than I think anyone in the world.
Yeah.
In Sydney, by the
Aussie
way,
company, yes.
in Silverwater.
Yep.
And so a lot of this stuff is stuff they know,
Yeah.
hardcore. They know
It's
it.
their backyard. Yeah.
They've just been working out how to,
Yeah.
miniaturize it down to the wireless
But
wireless
the
product.
Rode Wireless Go, the original one, that was sort of everyone went, wow, how small
Yeah.
is this? It was amazing.
Yeah.
And now their Wireless Go 2, now the Wireless Me, and now we've got the Wireless Pro, which has got everything, all the bells and whistles. All
I think
in one.
Rode would be amazed to see how that gets used. So the camo, Sam Reynolds the other day, he had a Rode Wireless Go on his camera.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, but I've got this other brand, and the other talent's got the other brand, and he's got this
Ah.
big. So what happens is the Soundo uses these thousands of dollar microphones for the talent, and he's got headphones on, he's listening, and he's tweaking the dials to make sure that where the audio is perfect, right?
Yep.
And then what he does is the output of his little sound box
Yeah.
goes into a transmit, the TX
Yeah.
of the Rode Wireless Go,
Yeah.
and the camera receives it. So it's basically he's using the wireless Go as simply as an audio channel, or a wireless
Yeah, right.
audio channel from the camera to the
Wow.
Soundo.
How was that?
So not a microphone,
Very smart.
an audio
yeah.
channel. Brilliant
Yeah.
stuff. All right, Two Blokes Talking Tech. Details of the Rode Wireless Pro at techguide.com.au and EFTM.com.
You got to visit it, mate.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Well, you could talk about Netgear for a second.
Netgear, well, Netgear is our other great sponsor. Netgear is the brand the top wireless, the number one wireless brand in the country. Now, if you are after wireless connections in your home, Netgear has you covered with their Orbi. Orbi is the solution to all of your problems.
I've been reading this. I've been saying this, ad-libbing this for 10
Yeah.
years now, 12 years now.
You have,
It's just
yeah.
great to have you give it a crack.
Well, I think the Orbi was really the first and best mesh Wi-Fi system
doubt.
you can buy. And the problem that people have in their Wi-Fi, especially they connect to the NBN, their modem's in the front of the house. They don't get the good, like from their original modem, the Wi-Fi is rubbish. They need a better connection. The mesh Wi-Fi is where Netgear comes into play with their Orbi system. Really easy to set up to. A lot of people are a little bit intimidated.
yeah, the app
thinking,
is
"Ooh."
brilliant.
It's a step-by-step process using the Orbi app.
Whatever
And,
speed you're paying for on your modem, so
Yep.
if you're paying for 100 meg or 900 meg, whatever speed you're paying for your modem is the speed you should expect throughout your whole home.
Yep.
And that's what a mesh Wi-Fi system like Orbi will deliver. So,
Take it over, mate.
oh,
Go.
no, I'm happy with what you've done, mate. It's great. We love their support. We appreciate their support. If you're looking for the best in Wi-Fi, you can find it at netgear.com.au. And if you just remember, the Wi-Fi is the backbone of your home. Because
Absolutely.
if the Wi-Fi is not working well,
Yeah.
the wife,
But
the
just to-
kids,
yeah,
everyone's going to be
you'll-
screaming
yeah,
at you.
That's like the canary in the mine. If the kids are acting up saying, "Oh, the Netgear, the Wi-Fi is not working," then you know there's something wrong with your internet. You won't have that problem if you've got an Orbi. But I find that everyone we've recommended Orbis to,
Yep.
it's solved their problem,
And
and
we-
they actually get back to us and tell us that's amazing. It's
Yeah.
working very well.
If it's working well, stick with it.
Do it.
Netgear.com.au.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
What? You've just installed a dash cam. I'm getting a new dash cam.
Yeah. Well, I spoke to my man at Navman, Elvis.
Elvis!
Yeah, he's there.
Has
he's
he left
there.
the building yet?
Geez, I wonder how many times he's heard that joke, Trev.
Poor fella.
Yeah. He's the product manager at Navman. Navman, you got to remember, they were a GPS company.
Yep.
And they've sort of spun out of GPSs because of what we said before. The people have got Apple Maps and everything, and so now they're focusing purely on dash cams.
Yep.
And I had a very interesting conversation. You can read it the whole Q&A on Tech Guide, but it's all
Sum it
about
up for us so we don't have to go there.
well, it's all about it's all about how not all dash cams are the same.
Yeah.
And there are different
Spot on.
features. Like I think probably the best example is a couple of things. Number one, the resolution. So
Yeah.
if you've got Navman have just released their Pro 4K dash cam, the MyView, and 4K obviously is 4 times more resolution than HD. And so detail with the dash cam is very important because you can see
Number plate.
car makes and models, number plates, street signs, people's faces, all that detail. If you zoom in, you can see it even better.
Yeah.
That's super important. HD is good, but doesn't give you the quality and the resolution as for 4K.
Yeah, spot on.
The other important thing to remember too is the type of sensor, because you got to remember it's a camera, right? So the sensor also has to be able to handle Australian conditions. So bright sunlight, when you're in a tunnel, then you suddenly come out into the sunlight. Does it flare out? Do you not see the detail
Yeah.
if something happens? So there are other things to consider as well. So a sensor is just as important as the resolution on a lot of
Yeah.
these dash cams as well. Also, too, with whether there's a screen, whether you can connect wirelessly, there's a.
You prefer a screen or no
companion app.
screen?
I prefer no screen.
Yeah, same here.
So you can connect, use your phone.
To the point
and-
where if it's got a
Yeah.
screen, I'll put it on the passenger side of the car.
yeah,
Up high, passenger side, so
Well,
I can't see it.
the Navman have just released the Alta, and I just actually put that in Haley's car, my daughter's
Yep.
car, and it's long and skinny, so
Yes,
it actually
and it
blends into
comes
the
down,
car.
yes. Yeah.
No screen on that, all through the app, the the MyView Pro app, so you can download any footage. Say there's a bit of footage you need to send to the police or insurance. You download it to your phone and off you go. You can wirelessly. You can look at the live view as well if you're parked, of course. So all these little factors, people are looking for dash cams. Does it need a screen? Can I just work it through the app? 4K, the sensor, just the general size of it too. Will it fit in my car? All these questions. Elvis does a great job in answering.
What did Elvis say about the mapping thing we were talking about earlier? Because I found it fascinating that my first GPS was a Navman, and they evolved. It's like the Foxtel conversation. Evolution was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Navman evolved beautifully into dash cams
They did,
and across there.
Well, they sold like more than 3 million dash cams across Australia. Oh, sorry, GPSs.
GPSs, yeah.
Yeah. So the GPS systems. So they serve their purpose, and there's a lot of GPS features still involved here.
Yes,
so
that's
the
right.
dash
Speed
cams,
alerts.
That's the other thing too. There are dash cams that offer you, like Navman, you're entering a school zone, or it's there's a red light camera ahead.
Yep.
There is a black spot.
The
railway
thing that you
crossings.
don't get anymore is
Yeah.
simply the turn by turn.
Yeah,
That's
well,
really what we've taken away.
Before they only started making dash cams, Navman's approach was you should have your GPS on anyway,
Yes.
so it can tell you about the red light cameras and all these
Yes.
other things. Now they've taken that technology, put it into the dash cam.
Yeah.
So it's serving that purpose. So can help you keep the points on your license and the money in your wallet. So
Very
if
good.
you're in the market for a dash cam, check out what Elvis has to say.
Elvis has not left the building. He's at techguide.com.au. Check it out. Stephen, that's a wrap for the week.
Wow.
We will be back for our 600th episode at a time to be disclosed.
Yes.
It's going to be a
Might not-
secret episode.
might
It's going to
not
be a
next
secret
week
release.
or whenever.
Look, it
Yeah.
might be next week, might not be. We're going to
Well,
surprise you.
It's a mystery episode.
It's a mystery to us as
Yeah,
well, just
yeah,
quietly.
exactly. I don't got no idea.
We have actually
We got-
we made this plan an hour ago.
Yeah.
We'll make next time's plan
Yeah.
when we get to it.
10 minutes before we start
Yeah,
hit record. Yeah. All right.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Recommend to a friend so that they can discover the gibberish that is Two Blokes
And we
Talking
hope
Tech.
you enjoyed watching it too. This is
If it worked.
This is new for us.
Yeah, I hope
So-
it worked.
Yeah. We tried it last week and it was a failure.
It could.
It was all Trevor's fault.
Like I'm just itching away at bugs.
Yeah.
you
And
know?
we've even got a set. Look, you bought a table, and I love your plush little velvet chairs and everything. Wow.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Mate,
Comfort is
we're
comfort
gonna-
is king.
This set is evolving.
What's the movie this week, Stephen?
This week is what we. It's we've done Mrs.
Fine.
Doubtfire. This week is
Karate
mate,
Kid?
I've lost Karate Kid. This
Yeah.
week. Yes.
It's
Karate
just we've
Kid.
got so much plans for the next month ahead.
Woo,
The-
yes.
the-
Karate Kid. Wax on.
Wax off.
Yeah. Crane. I'm doing the crane under the table.
Bonsai!
Bonsai!
Bonsai! That's not racist. It's in the movie.
It's in the movie, yeah. Bonsai is a little plant too.
I know, but
I've actually bought some bonsai.
I feel like we could be cancelled for that.
No.
Okay. Bonsai!
Bonsai.
Anyway, I love Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Best movies you've never seen.
Your memory kicked in at the right
I
time.
know, I
there.
was
Your
really
memory's
excited.
normally appalling.
I was like,
and
there was a
you
word.
said,
There was a
yes.
word. There was
Wow.
something in that movie.
Well, we've recorded so many of them, I lost count.
I don't know
So-
what you're talking about,
Yeah,
Stephen.
yeah.
They come out every week. Karate Kid on the best movies you've ever
Yes.
seen, which comes out in the Two Blokes Talking Tech podcast feed, which you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all good podcast apps, as well as the Tech Guide podcast on Tuesday night, EFTM on Wednesdays, just not for the next 3 weeks, Two Blokes Talking Tech on Thursdays, the private feed, which is where this gets wild,
Yes, gets a bit
on
loose.
Fridays,
Yeah, it gets a bit
and the
loose.
best
That's-
movies you've never seen on
That's
Saturdays.
explicit.
Yes, it is so.
Explicit.
See you,
Well,
mate.
Mainly Trevor, not me.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech with Trevor Long and Stephen Fenech.